for topic 1, there were a few things that you wanted to note in the scenario. The first is the question is asking if the children in your sample are similar to the Swiss national average. So we know we're going to be comparing one group to a known value, the Swiss national average here, which is 64 points with a standard deviation of 10. We can also see this is the ELFE reading test that we're going to be comparing. So question 1 says, we're going to formulate the alternative hypothesis for the question for the first topic. Is the sample of 4th graders that participated in the study initially different from the Swiss national average in reading achievement as measured by the ELFE test? So our alternative hypothesis is going to be that the mean of our sample at time 1, because it says initially here, that's how we know it's time 1, is not equal to 68 points. In other words, they are different. The null hypothesis would be that there is no difference between these two groups and that they are equal. So that's how we formulated our null hypothesis. For the statistical test that we're going to use a one-sample t-test because we are comparing one group, our sample at time 1, to a known value, which is 68. And so we're going to use the one-sample t-test. And the next question is if it's going to be one-tailed or two-tailed. Well, since the hypothesis, we're just saying they are different, we're not saying higher or lower, we're not making that prediction, we're going to look at a two-tailed test. So the next step comes for us to run the analysis. So here I have my data set open in SPSS. So we're going to go to Analyze. We're going to compare means because that's what t-tests do. We're going to pick the one sample t-test. Now our test variable is going to be the time 1 before the intervention, the ELFE. We're going to move that over. And we're going to compare it to our test value of the Swiss national average of 68. And then we don't need to estimate the effect size, and then we're going to go ahead and run that analysis. And so here we get the output to help us answer the remaining questions. So I've actually already copied a picture of the output here for us to discuss. So the next question is, what is the mean for reading achievement at time 1 before the intervention? And here in our t-test results, you can see the mean is right here. What is the standard deviation? That's also listed in the one sample test statistics right here. How many 4th graders are in our sample? That's our N. The number of participants is here. And the next question is the mean difference between the sample and population? What is that? Well, here we can see the mean for our sample is 70.64, and the population back here is 68. So we know that the mean difference of our sample is higher, and we're going to just subtract those two to get 2.64. The next questions ask us about the t-value. So here you can see the t-value is listed right here in the one sample test results. What is the relevant p-value? Well, this is a two-tailed test, so here we have two-sided test, and it's 0.06. Well, 0.06 is higher than our threshold of 0.05, so we do not reject the null hypothesis. We retain it, which means these samples are not statistically different from one another. So even though our sample has a higher mean, it's not statistically significant or different from the population. And that is how we interpret the results for task 1.